Hey everyone, welcome to Evening Serenity Yoga. I'm your host Imran, and let's get started. Evening time is a time to rest and relax, to contemplate about the day, the up and down, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude for making it through another day, and then also feeling a sense of accomplishment for getting through yet another day living with mental illness, bipolar disorder, or any other clinical depression, schizophrenia, OCD. And today, what I wanted to do for Evening Serenity, since this is the yoga flow where we focus on getting ready for bed, is to generate a little bit of heat. And today's class is titled Warrior One, or Virabhadrasana, which is known in the Sanskrit. Uh, we're going to slowly, very methodically learn how to get into Warrior One pose, feel some of the benefits, really talk about some of the tactical uh, adjustments to maximize the benefit of this pose, and then to put it in touch into a nice uh, um, flow, yoga flow. Sorry, I can't remember the word. I've had a long day, but that's okay. That's why we come to the mat. So as you'll see, I'm standing at the center of my mat today, and what I would like to do is simply come into mountain pose. Mountain pose is where we stand a little bit hip distance apart with our feet splayed maybe 15 to 30 degrees outward, not completely out like this, but just a little bit outward. And we can bring our hands to our hips. Imagine you're Superman or Superwoman. Really bring out that chest, send the shoulders back, relieve any tension in the neck, and then we drop our hands. This brings us into a nice straight posture. And we bring our awareness to our feet, parts of our feet, the heel that is touching the ground. And we notice all of the shifting the subtle shifting that our feet do in order to stay balanced and upright. Close your eyes and bring our awareness to the breath. Take some time to arrive on the mat, and that's why I always like to start out with something simple, because it takes some time to let everything about the day, put it to the side, everything that we have to do tonight, put it to the side, everything that's coming up tomorrow, we put it to the side, and we create this space around ourselves. We create emptiness, declutter, both physically as well as mentally. And we find a lot of the symptoms that we might be dealing with when it comes to racing negative thoughts or feeling a sense of panic or anxiety, they dissipate or they mute when we focus on the breath. So let's take a deep inhale and exhale. Deep inhale and exhale. Right now, my thoughts are bombarded by, is the microphone recording? Is the lighting okay? How is the quality of the video going to be? Because it's been a perpetual struggle for me. If you've seen some of the other videos, I say thank you for the thought. I will let you pass, and I will continue to my breath and simply noticing the subtle details about my breath. As I inhale, what is the temperature? Are there any smells? When I exhale, notice that it is much more moist coming out than it is when breathing in. bring our hands together and inhale, raise our hands up, and exhale, bring it down. This is designed to straighten the spine. Inhale up and exhale. Aspire to bring your biceps in between your earlobes when raising your hands. Inhale up and exhale down. Excellent. Let's widen our stance. Maybe about the size of a yard or a meter if you're watching from abroad. And I always love to get my abdominal muscles involved, my hips involved early on with some twisting, with some moving. So we'll just bring our hips, hands to our hips. We start to just make some circles with our pelvis, keeping the feet firmly planted. And now I'll go ahead and switch the rotation in whatever direction you weren't going in the first time. You'll notice you're stretching your groin muscle, your psoas, even the T-band. It's getting a little bit of a stretch. And that's how we want to start. We want to start mellow. We want to work our way up. Go ahead and make a T. And I'm going to wiggle my right hand. Okay, so this is the hand that is going to go down to my left ankle. So watch, or you can follow along. I'm going to take a deep inhale. Bring my hand to either my toe if I can make it, or my shin if my toe is too far. And I'm going to aspire to make my hand go straight up into the sky and come back up. Do the same thing on the other side. With my left hand, wiggle my fingers and cross, go down, get to my right toe or my right shin, and aspire to make my arm point straight into the sky and come back up. We'll do that a total of 10 times. We'll do that a total of 10 times, 5 times each. Okay, I'm going to move up a little bit so my hands aren't hitting the curtain behind me. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know I'm cheating a little bit. And 10. For me, coming to the yoga mat isn't about perfection. It's about showing up. And today it's quite cold. It's raining. Parts of Texas, it's even snowing. So there's just this desire to bundle up and not do anything. But sometimes we just got to give ourselves a little push to be able to reach our goals and the commitments that we make to ourselves. All right, now that we've kind of warmed up a little bit, we might be sensing a little bit of heat in the body. The heart rate is a little bit higher, and we're going to turn it up a notch and raise our heartbeat a little bit more. So come to the center of your mat, facing forward, and we're going to come into fierce pose, or also known as chair pose, and it's literally coming into the shape of a chair. So I'm going to kind of come into a comfortable standing position with my feet slightly wider than my hips, and I'm going to hinge my hips send them back, raise my hands up, and come back up. The tendency in the beginning is to send the knees forward and not kind of stick the bum out. We really want to hinge the hips and send it back. But at the same time, when we hinge the hips, we don't want to drop the back. And that's where really the arching of the spine occurs. And that's what makes those very tired muscles that are starting to become like this really wakes things up and helps improve the posture. And with an improved posture, a lot of the chronic back pain is lessened, if not completely goes away. So let's do 10 of these as well to raise the heat, raise the heart rate, and raise the breath. Let's do it. Inhale down and exhale. Inhale down and exhale. Inhale down and exhale. Inhale down and exhale. I think that's 5. Inhale down and exhale. Inhale down and exhale. Now, one thing I didn't mention is on the 10th one, we're going to hang out down there for a good 30 seconds. So that's number 9. Ready? Down. And we'll stay here and continue to breathe. And we'll come back up. Ooh, that really burned a little, but that's all right. It's going to really help us get ready to do Warrior 1. Now, the reason I wanted to do Warrior 1 is I really like this idea of doing a pose that brings out our warrior. Bipolar disorder or any other mental illness entails a warrior spirit in order to really fend off some of the very difficult battles that we have. And when we learn how to come into this pose, it really brings about this spirit of warriorness. So let's go ahead and there's many ways to get into a warrior pose. I'm going to teach it the way that I learned it. So let's see. I want to show you. So let's come to the front of our mat. Come over to the front side of your mat and let's move over to the right side. Now, imagine that your yoga mat is like railroad tracks. There's a track here, and then there's a track on the left side. So right now, both of our feet are on the right side of the railroad track. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to lift our left foot and send our left foot as far back as we can comfortably go. And with what our left foot is going to do is that it is going to face the top left part of our mat. And next, we're going to, every time we build a yoga pose, we build it from the ground up. So first things first is we want to have strong legs coming into the earth. I want my shin to be perpendicular to the ground. I aspire to make my thigh parallel to the ground. Everyone's anatomy is a little bit different. I've got some very long legs. And then what we want to do with our hips is we want to bring them to face forward. And that's where we're really going to feel it, right here in our quadricep muscle. But we're also getting a nice little pump in our right thigh. I'm going to raise my chest, kind of like that Superman pose that we did in the beginning. And from here, take a deep inhale and bring my hands up. It's one of the very pretty looking iconic poses for yoga. Go ahead and rest by extending the right foot out. Give yourself a good little breather by bringing the hands together and aiming backwards. And go ahead and sink back down, bringing the hands up again. And you'll find that your hips actually have a little bit more room to sink a little bit deeper. Again, we want to bring the pelvis, make it face forward. There's might be the tendency to do this. We really want to bring in Warrior One especially, because our right foot is on the right side of the mat, our left foot is on the left side of the mat. So we want to straighten the pelvis as much as possible. And raise the hands, aspiring to bring the biceps in between the ears. And I will straighten my right leg. My left foot is staying put. I give myself a nice rest. I'll bring my hands up and reach as far back as I can go. Bring my hands up. Sink deep into my Warrior One on the right side one last time. And bring my hands down. Extend my right feet out. And from here, I'm going to kick my left foot all the way back to the front. Ooh, shimmy my hips a little bit. That feels a little funky. But we're going to even things out by doing the same thing now on the other side. So I'm going to face over to this side, but you can continue to face the front of your mat. I'm going to come over to the top left of my mat. And just like I mentioned in the first time, imagine that there's a train track. One rail is on the left side and one rail is on the right side. And right now, both of our feet are on the left rail. I'm going to lift my right foot and I'm going to send my right foot as far back as I can. I'm going to make it diagonal, 45 degrees out to the right. Want to build from the bottom up once more. I have this tendency of going a little too far back in the beginning once my hips haven't opened up, but that's okay. I'm going to aspire to make my left shin perpendicular to the ground and my left thigh parallel to the ground. You might have noticed that the first time on the last side, I wasn't completely perfect, but then the more we do it, the more our muscles open up. Okay, so now that the feet are into position, I want to turn my hips as far forward as they will go. And as usual, I feel more tightness on the right side. That's okay. Whew, beautiful. And from here, I'm going to raise my pecs, make that Superman pose, and bring my hands up with a deep inhale and embrace that warrior one pose. And for me, there's a tendency to kind of stick my butt out, but try to tuck in the tailbone as if you're trying to tuck in the tail underneath you. And that's really going to help open up the quad muscle, the groin. And for you athletes, it's really good injury prevention. Go ahead and extend that leg. Give yourself a little rest. Bring the hands together. Tuck the tailbone in and lean back. Deep breath in. And from here, we'll come back, sink in to warrior one. Notice you're able to sink a little bit deeper than the first time. One thing I forgot to mention is we want to keep our front toes facing forward. And again, the hips we want to send forward. Admittedly, I'm quite tight. It's the winter time. I've been doing some weightlifting, and admittedly, I had my fair share of holiday food debauchery. But that's all right. We come back into the practice. And extend. Ooh. Bring the hands up. Tuck the tailbone in. Come back up and reach backwards. And come back into warrior one final time. Oh, I started ticking my tail. I gotta tuck my tail back underneath. And extend my legs out. Bring my hands down. Send my right foot back up to the front. Ooh. I'm feeling pretty worked out over here. My heart rate is up. But hey, I thought this was evening serenity. We've been on our feet for some time. So let's get onto the ground. Get into tabletop position. And almost every video you see of me, you see me do cat cow, but that's because this is just an amazing way to help ground, help distribute the energy across the body. And what I mean by that is experientially, when my awareness is really clogged up in the brain and my thoughts, it helps just awaken, the sensations all over the body. And that's what I mean by distributing awareness. So to get into cow, I'm going to raise my tailbone, drop my spine, drop my stomach, shine my chest forward, look up, and exhale, tuck in the tailbone, arch the spine, drop my head. Inhale up, And exhale. Inhale up. And exhale. Inhale. Start with the tailbone. End with the crown of the head. And exhale. I'm going to extend my left foot out to the left side. I'm going to do a pretty involved stretch here, but it's really good for the hips, for the groin. It's really good for the mid spine as well. I'm going to first take my right hand. I'm going to touch my right shoulder. I'm going to thread the needle. And I'm going to aspire to, with my right hand, touch my toes. But also, one way to do it is to drop the weight of my shoulders and aspire to bring my right shoulder slowly onto the ground. Then, with my left hand, I'm going to spider walk it forward. And then I'm going to walk my fingers over to the right side in order to open up my chest. This feels great. Now, in order to safely get out, I'm going to bring my right hand in front of me and push up, unthread the needle, come back in. Now, you stay put. I'm just going to switch sides so that I'm still facing you when I do my twist. And I'm going to stick my right foot out. I'm going to touch my left shoulder with my left fingers, and then I'm going to thread the needle, come over to my left toe, drop my left shoulder, walk my right hand upward, and then over to the left side to open up my chest. Come up, bring the hands right in front of the face, push up, and let's come into a downward facing dog. Again, aspire to bring my ears in between my biceps. Take a deep inhale and come into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. You can pedal your legs in order to stretch out the calf muscle, stretch out the hamstrings. Inhale. Yeah, exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And from here, what I'm going to do is bring my left foot to the left of my left hand. And I'm going to walk my hands over to the middle. I'm going to tuck my shirt in because this mic is coming into my face. So I'm going to continue to stretch the groin muscle a bit and aspire to bring our hands over to the ground. And in order to create some traction in our cervical vertebra, Let go of the weight of the head completely. And when I say let go of the weight of the head, let go from your tailbone all the way to the crown of your head. Now, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to lean over to the right side and aspire to come over to the left side by staying as low as possible. Take a deep inhale and switch. Another inhale and switch, assuming that you exhaled. Oh, yeah. Feeling all sorts of crunchiness. Deep inhale. And I'm going to come back into the center. I'm going to bring my feet together and I'm going to splay my feet outward 45 degrees, drop my hips, and come into a squat. A squat pose is a fantastic pose for gut regulation. If you're constipated, this is a fantastic way. Actually, traditional people who are going out to the bathroom outside, this is actually anatomically a really good way to prevent prostate issues, or if you have her, hemorrhoids, that this is a great way to pass if you're having that kind of pain. It's just an amazing way to open up the hips as well. I'm going to lean back, allow my hips to fall down. I'm going to keep my feet facing outward, and I'm just going to windshield wiper my knees left and right. All the while breathing deeply, diaphragmatically. Whenever I do this, I remember motion is lotion. When we are moving our joints in directions that we don't typically do in our daily life, when we're sitting in the car, sitting at the desk. When we do this, we're lubricating our joints. I have a friend who has had some serious sciatica pain this week, and I was like, oh, we should do this pose, and lo and behold, a lot of his pain lessened. So he avoided having to get a steroid shot, which is a great thing. Excellent. One of the principles for evening serenity yoga that I'll always aspire to apply is contact with the ground. Contact with the ground is a great way to feel a sense of calm. If we're feeling high energy, it's a great way to ground ourselves literally and mentally. And I want to begin first with a massage of our spine by rolling backwards and forwards. And in the spirit of being a little bit playful, in the next 4 rolls, to do a 180. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Excellent. I'm going to raise my knees and bring my feet to where my hands are touching the back of my heel. And from here, I'm going to send my hips forward, bring my hands together, roll my shoulders back as if I'm trying to grab a pencil with my shoulders, and aspire to bring my hips higher, higher, and higher. Embrace the wobble. And we'll come back down. Do it again. Send the hips up. Bring the hands together. Tuck my shoulders in as if I'm trying to grab a pencil with my shoulders. And send the hips up. And again, you're trying to tuck in the tail. If the tailbone sticks out, then the stomach really gets protruded, and that can put pressure on the lower back. So try to tuck in your tail in between your legs and for it to come out from the front side. And you'll really feel it in your glutes and your hamstrings. And we'll slowly come back down. I'm going to bring my knees in. Come into a nice little hug. And sway side to side. I'm going to make a T with my hands. And again, just like last time, but this time I'm going to have my feet together. They're not going to be separated like they were last time. They're going to be together. And I'm going to drop my knees to the left. I'm going to turn my neck over to the right. Bring my knees up, my neck up. Drop my knees to the right and look to the left. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale up and exhale. Inhale up and last exhale. We'll come back up. Awesome. Ooh, we're in a perfect pose to come into Shavasana or corpse pose. This is where there's maximal contact with Mother Earth. And today we're going to face our palms on the ground to feel some more sensation with the ground. And we will drink the benefits of this practice, bringing our awareness back to the breath and the breath alone. You might have noticed that while you were straining in the various poses today, you might have forgotten about all your worries and concerns because, well, this became our concern. But that's a beautiful thing when we become focused, or really our awareness becomes spread throughout the body. It distracts us, even momentarily, from our woes, our fears, our concerns, our ruminations, and we become in the moment. And when we become in the moment, we become to taste joy. If we're thinking about what we're going to do tomorrow, tonight, what we should have, could have, would have done today, earlier, or yesterday, let those thoughts wash over like the waves of the ocean and come back to the breath. Feel the sensation of Mother Earth and pick 3 parts of the body that are making contact with the earth and bring your awareness there. As for me, I'm focusing on the part that is right below my heart and my 2 hands. It's kind of cool, these 3 spots, these focal points of focus are creating a triangle in my mind. We can go ahead and open our eyes, wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, bring our feet in, lean to the right side, come into a comfortable little fetal position. And whenever you're ready, you can pause the video or just hang out. I'm going to go ahead and push myself up with my left hand. Come into easy pose. If you're hanging out, that's all right. I hope this is relaxing. I hope this gets you ready for bed. I'm certainly feeling a lot of the tension in my body, especially since I've been a little bit out of practice growing this community of BP Harmony, but I've committed to Sunday mornings at 11 and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Central, uploading these videos in the community archive, occasionally sharing it to the public for future. And I hope you have a good night's rest. I'm excited for my good night's rest now. I have a lot of clarity on all the things that I need to do before going to bed. It doesn't seem as overwhelming. And if you have the blessing to be able to go to bed early, remember something that I always advocate for, especially for someone struggling with bipolar disorder, because often is their struggle with sleep, is go to bed at the same time every night and wake up every day at the same time, aspiring to be in bed 8 hours every day. Until next time, have a lovely night and know that recovery is possible. You can live a full life again.